It is an obligation for every Muslim Ummah, as required by the 5 pillars of Islam, to once in his or her lifetime perform the spiritual exercise to the Holy Land, but bearing in mind the means to do so. It is a journey of spiritual and intellectual rebirth that comes with new ideas, perspectives, and practices for new things like humbleness and unity. As an annual exercise, it has witnessed millions of Muslim Ummah all over the world performing the exercise at the given opportunity. But the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted this for almost 18 months. As such, Muslims are more eager than ever before to embark on their first pilgrimage since the pandemic began. Now, with over 18 months suspension due to COVID-19, the National HAJJ Commission of Nigeria, NACON, have started the 2022 Hajj exercise with Borno State, having the first airlift of pilgrims to the holy city of Mecca. This did not come without some mixed expectations from the Hajj fair, which the Commission gave as a scary signal to service providers in the cost of services in consideration for the 2-year redundant Hajj funds which had been affected by devaluation. These and other issues will be our focus for discussion on Nigeria Today, and the topic is 2022 Hajj exercise. I am Lydia Odijochi. Welcome to the program. With me in the studio is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National HAJJ Commission of Nigeria, NACON, HAJJ Zikrullah Kunle Hassan. Thank you for joining us.
Assalamu alaikum.
All right. Also in the studio with me is Abdullahi Magaji Hardawa, Commissioner in charge of operations, NACON. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We're grateful. Okay, let me begin with the chairman. Over 18 months of suspension due to the COVID-19. For sure, this is a Hajj with many peculiarities. I'm sure you agree with me. Sure. Acknowledging that it's an annual exercise, arrangements would have reached a climax now, this time around. But just having a handful airlifted to the Holy Land, and as NACON's chairman, how do you see the process? Would it be without difficulties, especially after such a long time?
Well, I thank you for having us here this moment. To Nigerian at home, I say a good evening. Well, in answering your question, I think we must agree that there are challenges. Okay. I would rather put it as challenge than difficulties, in the sense that there are new innovations, new issues that are just coming up. A good example is the fact that every person who wants to do the pilgrimage must be vaccinated. Okay. The second important one is that you must also do the PCR or COVID test, as we know, before you travel. Against that are also so many other issues. We have allocations which fall short of the expectations of the Nigerian Muslim. But again, we still have to manage. These are just some of the many issues that confronted us. Are they surmountable? The fact is yes. These challenges are not beyond our ability to give Nigerian Muslim a very good spiritual experience in the Holy Land.
Okay. Yeah. Now let me come to you, the Commissioner of Operations.
You're welcome.
Looking at the services to be provided for the pilgrims, considering the 2-year redundancy, like the Hajj funds which have been affected by devaluation, what is the Commission doing to cushion this and make things easier or fair for the pilgrims?
Well, alhamdulillah, true enough, there have been so many intending pilgrims who left their monies with the various state agencies over the years, for one reason or the other. As far back as 2019, 2020, 2021, and even 2022, people have been coming, making deposits, desirous of going for Hajj. The Commission had advised earlier on that those who were interested in having their monies back, they could come and collect. So many refused to come and collect. So what is the implication of that? Why were they not prepared to collect their money back? Most of those who made the deposits, if you make some in-depth analysis, you will come to understand that many of them are from the low-income group of the Muslim Ummah. And therefore, they have a feeling that probably when they collect the money back, they will have to say bye-bye to their hope of going for Hajj. So they invariably left the money with those state agencies. All right, they left the money, but we are all aware of the global inflation. This is a trend that is happening all over the world, including Nigeria. Money left as far back as 2019. Clearly, the value at that time is no longer the same as today. What it could buy 2019 could hardly buy the same thing this time around. So clearly, they lost value. The commission, the act establishing the commission, made a provision for Hajj savings scheme.
Okay.
The intention here basically is to give opportunity for Nigerians of whatever status, small timers, big timers, in the business, in the farming industry, all these, to be able to save gradually up to the time they will be able to make it for Hajj. So before the conception of this idea, we are aware that so many people often liquidate their businesses. Some sell their farms, their livelihood, to save for Hajj. When they come back from the Hajj, they are out of business. This is not acceptable. So the idea of this Hajj savings scheme is to give everybody the opportunity to gradually save to perform the Hajj.
Okay.
All right? When this idea was conceived, it was done in good faith, and it had been in the act. Their predecessors, they all tried their best to ensure that they implement this, but somehow, as it had been, they were not so lucky enough to bring it off the ground until the current board comes on board. So under his leadership, we were able to face the issue squarely. And alhamdulillah, we have succeeded not only in launching the scheme, but we have made appreciable progress. All right? The intention here, it will, beside inculcating the culture of saving, it will also give the opportunity for those who are depositing their money to earn rather than to lose the value of their deposits.
Okay.
All right? And when they earn, they will be able to also gradually be able to perform Hajj. All Muslims, they believe, whatever you do is judged by your intention. So the moment you register or you enroll to be an intended pilgrim, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are an intended pilgrim. Should one loses his life in the process, comes the day of judgment, inshallah, he will wake up as somebody who has the intention to perform Hajj. And Allah will reward him accordingly. So that is the greatest benefit, in addition to earning income, because the money when pooled will be invested in viable ventures, right, profitable ventures, and the profit would be earned, and that profit will accrue to the person who deposits his money. So he would be earning in addition to that. So that was what we had as a long-term intention, to bring it, or to make Hajj as seamless as possible, and also give the Hajj managers across from the state to the national level the opportunity to effectively plan for Hajj. Before now, or up to this moment, I would rather say we are making things rather haphazardly, unplanned. For example, if a state, the chief executive of a state agency does not know at a particular point in time how many intended pilgrims has he. He does not know. So also that state, so also the other state. Cumulatively, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria also does not know the number of pilgrims are intending for a particular year. This is not good enough.
No.
So an airline, for example, if they are assigned to airlift pilgrims from a particular state, does not know the number of pilgrims they are to airlift, invariably they will not be able to assess the kind of aircraft to deploy for the operation.
Okay, let me stop you there.
Okay.
And hear from the chairman. talking about comfort for Nigerians, that's accommodation. Are there provisions to make the service providers accept an amount lower or within the reach of the common Nigerian pilgrim as compared to the 2019 fees?
Well, that's a good one. I quite agree with you that we have a duty to cushion the effect of inflation as it affects the cost of HAJJ this year. And that was why the Commission resolved to see everything we can to ensure that people have value for their money. And I can assure you, without fear of contradiction, that the kind of accommodation that, say for instance, costs, and I'm going to speak in Saudi Riyal now, that cost like 3,700 Saudi Riyals in 2019, despite the inflation, which ought to make it go higher, despite that the Saudi government has made the VAT now 15% as against 5%, we insisted that no accommodation should be more than 2,000 Saudi Riyals. That obviously is about 40% decrease in the cost of what it used to be in 2019. So we decided to ensure that some of these things that we have absolute control on, even in the case of the airline, what we have is just an appreciable increase, despite the fact that there is already turbulence in the world of flying now. But we're able to get their cooperation to have just a minimal increase. But I must say, the things that we couldn't control, we couldn't. For instance, the exchange rate in 2019 was 306 naira to a dollar. Okay. But now it's over 410. There's no way we can do anything about that. And Mr. President was quite very frank about it. There's not going to be any concession for anybody who wants to do pilgrimage. Every and single person involved in going to pilgrimage, as far as Hajj is concerned, must pay the official dollar rate. So there's nothing we can do about that. So we have to key in. And the good thing, however, is that despite the increase, I must tell you that Nigerians are still crying to get to be involved. If we get the double of what we get as an allocation from Saudi Arabia this year, it will still not be enough. We have to tell people, yes, that's to be honest, we have to tell people, sorry, next year is around the corner. If we live long enough, you can still go.
Okay, that leads me to my next question before we go on a break. By the way, how many Nigerians are allowed to perform the 2022 Hajj exercise from Nigeria?
Yeah, this year from Nigeria is 43,008. Very small, I must say, but still, we are the 5th largest contingent in the entire world. Despite 43,008, it's less than what we used to expect. We used to get 95,000 and above. We got less than half, but yet still, I must say that in fairness to Saudi government, we are still the 5th largest in terms of allocation. So many other countries didn't get as much.
All right. We'll take a break now. We'll be back to talk more about the Hajj exercise. Don't go away.
This is NTA News 24 broadcasting from Abuja. You can watch us anywhere, anytime on the following platforms.
Start Times Channel 101, Brick TV Channel 703, GSTV Channel 419, and Go TV Channel 46.
For more information, log on to our website www.nta.ng or join us on our social media handles, Facebook at NTA News 24.
For comments, suggestions and inquiries, send an email to news24@nta.gov.ng or call us on the following numbers.
NTA News 24,
news and more news.
Welcome back. The program is Nigeria Today. We are discussing the 2022 Hajj, and my guests are, my guest is the Chairman and the Chief Executive Officer of National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, Alhaji Zikrullah Kunle Hassan, and also the Commissioner in charge of Operations, NAHCON, Abdullahi Magaji Hardawa. Okay, let me ask you this. Talking about the quota allocated to Nigeria, will the number of applicants not be overwhelming bearing in mind this year's the exercise has been suspended for 2 years, about 2 years.
Yes, you are very correct. The fact that HAJJ for external pilgrims has been suspended for 2 consecutive years. That makes it possible for people to, for the number of people intending to go to be so many, more than we thought it could be, taking into consideration that, as the chairman has mentioned, there has been some global inflation all over. Saudi Arabia has jacked up its taxes, so yeah, from VAT from 5% to 15% suddenly, and in response to economic turbulence arising from COVID-19, of course, pandemic. And some subsidies on utilities have also been withdrawn. All these indicate or culminated into high cost of living in Saudi Arabia. Costs of goods and services have tremendously increased. All right, back here in Nigeria, we are also battling with inflation.
Yes.
And the cost of dollar to naira has drastically changed, as pointed out by the chairman. All these are indicators that the cost of HAJJ would naturally be very high. It is for this reason the Commission realized that there was need to sensitize the general public to appreciate the fact that things are no longer the same. Those who deposited money or have paid for fare last year or 2 years earlier and have not gone for HAJJ and have not collected their money, let them feel comfortable that they have paid for fare for 2022. So we sensitize them to appreciate the realities on ground, so much so that those who are really intending to go should find or start making means to meet up whatever it could be. So when the HAJJ fair was finally computed and announced, we were thinking that there may not be so many people subscribing to the slots. But to our surprise, despite the high cost, because people have not been going for 2 years, now we are really overwhelmed by requests for more and more and more slots. As he rightly pointed out, even if we had been given 3 times what we have been given, people would still ask, so the slots would have been oversubscribed as well. So this is a very big challenge to us. Challenge in the sense that both here in Nigeria and in Saudi Arabia, there is escalation in the prices of goods and services. Those going there now, they will go with the same amount of money they used to carry. That's the BTA. That's what they will use for their subsistence while there. It remains the same, even though there has been inflation even over there. So therefore, we are really drawing the attention of those who are on the journey to be aware of this and make the best use of whatever they have. Otherwise, they will easily fall into a situation that will be so pitiful.
Okay, Chairman, let me ask you, is there any arrangement for Nigerian pilgrims to pay less for accommodation, even though it's supposed to cost more? And due to the fact that the new policy of 4 people in a room.
Yeah, I've said it earlier, and I said accommodation average used to be 3,700 Saudi Riyal. That's about $1,000 per person in Makkah. We have succeeded in bringing it down by 40% decrease. We have succeeded in that. But permit me to use this opportunity to tell Nigerian Muslims who still looking forward to go to Hajj, if by now you have not been registered to go, please, I will advise that you think against next year, because like the Commission of Operation rightly said, we are so much overwhelmed by requests from center, right and left. And the truth is that we have already started the operation. People are already going. So if your chance is not this year, I will advise you, please wait for next year, because the states, the local government, the people high and low in society are really bombarding us on a minute-by-minute basis, requesting that they still want to go. And I think this is an opportunity for us to tell Nigerians who are not opportune to just pay for Allah to give them the life for next year. Then I think it will be their chance. And I will advise such people to, if they want to, and that's their choice, to keep their money with their respective state agency, because we have maintained the position that it is first come, first serve.
Okay.
So those who, so if I were you and you are not opportune this year, and you still insist that Allah should be able to call you next year, it's better to put your money down and keep on monitoring your number on the queue. Okay. We don't know what's going to happen next year, but we wish for the best.
We wish for the best. I was going to ask you that,
Yeah.
whether I was going to be on first come, first serve basis or other arrangements. Okay, let me ask the Commissioner of Operations. Should all intending pilgrims who have paid for Hajj expect to be allocated soon, or will they have to wait longer?
Well, payment is different from deposit.
Okay.
People have been depositing their money with the intention of going for Hajj at a particular point in time. Payment is when the fare is computed. And in competition, you take all variables, or so many factors into consideration. The cost of feeding, accommodation, air transportation, and the likes, before you come up with the fare. So those who have been deposited, you give them opportunity to level up, to make up from what they have deposited to what is actually due to be paid. So the fare to be paid is always coming after competition. So those who are able now to meet up, then they have paid for it, and they are the ones that will be considered for the Hajj.
Okay, now, Chairman, those intending pilgrims who have not been vaccinated or fully vaccinated, what is their plight?
No, they are not intended pilgrims. For you to be an intended pilgrim, it's sine qua non that you must be vaccinated. By vaccination, I'm saying that you must have either the 1 dose of the one required or the 2 doses of the other required. That is a condition for you to actually get visa. Once you have not vaccinated, there's no way you can get visa. The system through which visa is processed require your vaccination card. It must pass through the system because the visa is processed through electronic. Okay. So your yellow card, your vaccine card must be there. In addition to the fact that when you are about to travel, you must have your PCR test. So once somebody is not vaccinated, we advise him, go for vaccination, wait for next year.
Okay. Now, any advice you have, any more information you need to pass across to intending pilgrims?
Well, what I would rather say, those who are asking for opportunity to buy Hajj seats to go, desperation is not relevant here. You are going for a religious activity and an act of worship, and Allah knows your intention. So if you intend to go, you are unable to secure a slot to go, there is no qualm about it. Allah knows better. Wait until when it is time, then you will go, inshallah. That is one. So all those who are just bothering themselves that they must get a slot by hook or crook or anyhow, that desperation is un-Islamic, right, in my opinion. Secondly, my advice is that let those who are lucky enough to have the ability to pay and are obviously put on the road to go, let them understand that once they step out of the shores of Nigeria, they equally become just ambassadors of Nigeria. And therefore, the extent to which they conduct themselves will determine the reputation and the image of the country. Therefore, they are not ordinary Nigerians, they are ambassadors of Nigeria once outside the shores of Nigeria. Okay. So we request them, we appeal to them to conduct themselves in a manner that will dignify the image of Nigeria.
Okay. Finally, from the chairman, any assurances towards Nigerian pilgrims? Yeah,
we assure Nigerian pilgrims that this year will be good. But I need to inform Nigeria of one thing which is key. Since the assumption of office of Mr. President, he has made it very clear that the Nigerian Treasury will not sponsor Hajj operation. And people need to know this in case they don't know, that the federal government of Nigeria does not sponsor Hajj operation at all. That is the policy of Mr. President, that Hajj, for you to go, is a personal affair. So even the National Hajj Commission, don't come here for your operation money. The president is very specific on that. I think I need to let Nigerians know this. But for assurance, we have done our best. to ensure that the pilgrimage is something that it will be enjoyed both spiritually as well as socially. And like my colleague, the Commissioner of Operations said, please, when you are going, you are representing the entire country called Nigeria. When you get there, you must be humble. Don't say because you're a big man here. Once you pass the shores of Nigeria, you're just a commoner, and let them know that.
All right. Well, that's it on Nigeria Today, and my guests have been the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, HAJJ Zikrullah Kunle Hassan. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
And Abdullahi Magaji Haldawa, Commissioner in charge of Operations, NACON. Thank you so much for your time with us.
Once more, thank you, please.
Thank you. You can watch these and other episodes of Nigeria Today at www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Thank you for watching. I'm Lydia Odijochi. See you next time. Bye-bye.